My name is James Cooper. I'm 58 years old, and I need to tell you about the biggest mistake of my life. A mistake that cost people their lives. A mistake I'm still living with every single day. 17 years ago, I made a decision that seemed right at the time. Merciful. Even beautiful. I thought I was saving lives. Thought I was doing something good. I was wrong. This is the story of how I raised two Sasquatch twins from infancy to adulthood. How I loved them like my own children, and how one of them became a killer. March 2008. I was 41 years old, living alone in a remote cabin in the Northern California mountains. I'd moved there 2 years earlier after my wife died in a car accident. We'd been married for 15 years, no children. She'd wanted them. I'd always said, someday when we're ready. We never got ready. And then she was gone. I couldn't stay in our house, couldn't stay in the city, couldn't be around people who knew us, who'd look at me with pity. So I took an early retirement from my job as a wildlife biologist, bought a cabin on 40 acres of isolated forest land, and disappeared. I told myself I was there to research, to study black bear populations in the region, to contribute to science. But really, I was there to grieve, to hide, to wait for the pain to stop. It had been 2 years. The pain hadn't stopped. March 14th, 2008. I was hiking deep in the forest, maybe 5 miles from my cabin, checking trail cameras, looking for bear signs. It was late afternoon, the sun starting to drop behind the mountains. Then I heard it. A sound that made my blood freeze. Crying. High-pitched, distressed. Not human, but not quite animal either. Something between. I followed the sound, through dense brush down into a ravine, and I found them. The scene is burned into my memory. I see it every time I close my eyes. A female Sasquatch, easily 8 feet tall, covered in dark reddish-brown fur, lying at the bottom of the ravine, partially crushed under a massive boulder. Dead. Had been for hours, maybe a day. The rock slide that killed her was still visible. Loose stones, disturbed earth. And next to her body, trying desperately to nurse from her, 2 infants. Babies. Maybe 3 or 4 months old, if I had to guess. Tiny compared to their mother. Maybe 2 feet long, 15 pounds each, covered in light brown fur, making those crying sounds. Desperate, hungry, cold. Twins, one slightly larger, one slightly smaller, both clinging to their dead mother, trying to get milk that would never come. I stood there for a long time, just staring. My scientific mind was screaming, "Document this! Take photos! Call someone! This is the discovery of a lifetime, proof that these creatures exist." But I couldn't move, because all I could see were 2 babies, orphaned, dying, alone. I thought about my wife, about the children we never had, about the emptiness in my chest that had been eating me alive for 2 years. And I thought, I can't leave them here, to die. I know what you're thinking. I thought it too, even then. This is insane. These aren't human babies. You don't know what they need, what they eat, how to care for them. You don't even know if they're dangerous. But I couldn't walk away. I took off my jacket, wrapped the infants in it. They were cold, too cold. They'd die of hypothermia within hours if I left them. I carried them back to my cabin. It took 2 hours. They cried the entire time. Weak, pitiful sounds that broke my heart. When I got home, I had no idea what to do. I'd raised puppies before, bottle-fed a few orphaned animals during my career. But this was different. These were... I didn't even know what to call them. I tried formula. They wouldn't take it. Tried different mixtures. Nothing worked. They were getting weaker. Crying less. I was losing them. Finally, around midnight, I tried something desperate. I had goats on my property for milk. I mixed fresh goat milk with mashed banana and warm water, made it as close to milk consistency as I could. I dipped my finger in it, touched it to the larger infant's mouth. He licked it, tentatively, then more eagerly. I used a dropper, fed him slowly. He drank. The smaller infant, the female, watched, then started crying for her own. I fed them both. They drank everything I offered, desperately, like they'd been starving. When they were full, they stopped crying, curled up against each other, and fell asleep on my chest. I sat there all night, these two tiny creatures sleeping on me, making small sounds in their sleep, holding on to each other. And I realized I'd just committed to something impossible. I'd taken 2 Sasquatch infants. I couldn't return them. Their mother was dead. I couldn't call authorities. They'd be taken, studied, probably kept in captivity forever. I was completely alone with this decision. And these babies' lives were now my responsibility. I named them that night. The male, slightly larger and darker, I called Ash. The female, smaller with lighter fur, I called Willow. Ash and Willow. My children. The first weeks were brutal. I'd never been so exhausted in my life. They needed constant care, feeding every 3 hours. They'd cry if I put them down. They needed warmth. I kept the cabin heated constantly, made them a nest of blankets near the fireplace. And they grew. Fast. Faster than any mammal I'd ever studied. At 3 months old, their approximate age when I found them, they were the size of small human infants. By 6 months, they were the size of toddlers, walking, climbing, getting into everything. They were intelligent, frighteningly intelligent. They watched me constantly, learned by observation, started understanding cause and effect within weeks. I'd say food and show them their bowls. Within days, they'd look at the bowls when I said the word. They were learning language. Ash was bolder. He'd explore first, climb higher, take more risks. Willow was cautious. She'd wait and watch Ash, then follow if it seemed safe. But they were inseparable. They slept together, played together, cried if they were separated for more than a few minutes. I baby-proofed the entire cabin, locked away anything dangerous, reinforced furniture. They were stronger than human children, much stronger. At 6 months old, Ash could lift objects I struggled with. I kept them inside mostly. Too risky to let them outside where someone might see. My nearest neighbor was 4 miles away, but I was paranoid. Sometimes I'd take them out at night, let them explore the immediate area around the cabin. They loved it, would run and climb and play in the moonlight while I watched, terrified they'd go too far or make too much noise. By their first birthday, I counted from March 14th, the day I found them, they were the size of human 5-year-olds, walking upright confidently, climbing trees like they were born to it, communicating through a combination of vocalizations and gestures I was learning to interpret, and they understood English. Not perfectly, but enough. I could say, "Come here," or "Be quiet," or "Bedtime," and they'd respond appropriately. I fell in love with them. Completely. They were my children, the family I'd lost when my wife died. They needed me, and I needed them. I'd watch them sleep at night. They had their own bedroom by then, with reinforced beds I'd built. And I'd think, I'm happy. For the first time in 3 years, I'm happy. They'd wake up and run to me. "Dada," Ash would vocalize. Not quite the word, but close enough. Willow would climb into my lap for morning cuddles. We'd have breakfast together. I'd teach them things, names of objects, simple concepts, right and wrong. It felt perfect. It felt right. But there were challenges I couldn't ignore. When they got sick, which happened twice that first year, I was terrified. I couldn't take them to a vet, couldn't ask for help. I had to guess. Treat them like human children with fever reducers and fluids and hope it worked. It did. They were resilient, recovered quickly. But those days of not knowing if they'd survive, of watching them suffer and being unable to really help, those days aged me. And there was the secrecy, the constant fear of discovery. I couldn't have visitors, couldn't let anyone onto my property. I made excuses when people from town asked about visiting, made up stories about being antisocial, needing solitude. People thought I was crazy, the weird hermit in the mountains. That was fine, better than the truth. By year 2, Ash and Willow were the size of human 10-year-olds, strong enough to hurt me if they weren't careful. I had to teach them restraint. Gentle, I'd say when they'd grab me too hard. Soft hands? They learned. They were good kids, loving, playful, smart. But I started noticing something. Ash was getting frustrated with being inside all the time, with the limitations I put on them. "Why can't we go farther?" he'd ask in his own way. Gestures, sounds, expressions I'd learned to read. "It's not safe," I'd explain. "Other humans wouldn't understand. They'd be afraid of you. They'd hurt you." Why? The eternal question of children. Why? How do you explain prejudice to a child? How do you explain that the world would see them as monsters, as threats, as specimens to be studied rather than people to be loved? I did my best. And mostly, they accepted it. They trusted me. I was their father, their protector, their whole world. But I knew this couldn't last forever. They were growing, changing. They'd outgrow the cabin, outgrow their dependence on me. Eventually, they'd want more than this isolated existence. I told myself I'd deal with that when it happened, that I had time, that we could figure it out together. I was wrong about that too. I'm going to compress 15 years into the next part of this story, because if I told you every detail, every moment, every challenge and joy of raising Ash and Willow, we'd be here for days. But you need to understand, these weren't pets. These weren't animals I was keeping. These were my children. I raised them, loved them, taught them everything I knew, and I failed them, in ways I'm still trying to understand. Ages 2 to 5, the childhood years, 2010-2013. By age 3, Ash and Willow were the size of human teenagers. By 5, they were adult-sized, 7 feet tall, broad-shouldered, powerful. But mentally, emotionally, they were still children. That disconnect between their physical maturity and their emotional development was constant challenge. I homeschooled them, essentially. Taught them to read. Yes, they could read. Not fluently, but basic words, simple sentences. Taught them math concepts, geography, science. They absorbed everything. Ash was better with spatial reasoning, problem solving. Willow was better with language, memory, empathy. They developed distinct personalities early. Ash was protective. Of me, but especially of Willow. If I raised my voice even slightly at her, he'd position himself between us. Not threatening, but clear. Don't hurt her. He was also territorial. The cabin, the surrounding forest, he saw it as ours. His. When deer or other animals came close, he'd chase them off. When I'd leave to go into town for supplies, he'd be agitated until I returned. "This is our space. You belong here with us." Willow was gentle, curious. She'd bring me things she found. Interesting rocks, unusual leaves, dead insects she wanted to understand. She'd sit with me for hours while I read, just wanting to be close. She hated conflict. If Ash and I argued, she'd make distressed sounds until we stopped. They played together constantly, roughhousing that would have hospitalized a human, throwing each other, wrestling, climbing trees and jumping from branch to branch. I'd watch, hard in my throat, but they never got seriously hurt. They were built for this. At night, we had routines. Dinner together. I cooked human food for me. They preferred raw meat and foraged plants, but would eat cooked food to make me happy. Then story time. Then bed. They'd outgrown sleeping on my chest. Now they had reinforced beds in their own room, but they still slept holding hands. Every night. Ash and Willow, twins, inseparable. I taught them the most important lesson early: how to hide. I was paranoid about discovery. Set up bells around the perimeter of the property. Old-fashioned warning system. If anything crossed the boundary, bells would ring. When the bells rang, Ash and Willow knew. Disappear. Instantly. Into the forest. Into hiding spots we'd prepared. We practiced monthly. I'd ring the bells without warning. They'd vanish. I'd search for them. Sometimes I'd find them. More often, I wouldn't. They were that good. It became a game to them. But for me, it was life or death. If anyone discovered them, everything ended. They'd be taken, studied, caged. I couldn't let that happen. Ages 6 to 10. The difficult years, 2014-2018. Around age 6, things started changing. Ash began questioning everything. Why do we hide? Why can't we explore further? Why are other humans dangerous? I tried to explain. About how the world works. About how people fear what they don't understand. About how he and Willow would be seen as threats, as monsters, as specimens. But we're not monsters, he'd say. His communication had evolved. Still combination of vocalizations and gestures, but I understood him perfectly. We're people. We think, we feel, we love. I know that, I'd tell him. But others won't see it that way. They'll see your size, your strength, your difference, and they'll react with fear or violence. You didn't. I'm not like most people. Then most people are wrong. He wasn't wrong, but that didn't change reality. Ash started pushing boundaries. Literally. He'd venture further from the cabin than I'd allowed. Stay out longer. Test how far he could go before I'd panic and come looking for him. We fought about it. My first real arguments with my children. I'd tell him it was too dangerous. He'd say I was being controlling, treating him like a prisoner. This is for your protection, I'd say. This is a cage, he'd respond. A comfortable cage, but still a cage. Willow tried to mediate. She understood my fear, but she also understood Ash's frustration. She'd translate between us, try to find compromises. What if we go further, but only at night? She'd suggest. When no one can see us? I agreed to that. Started taking them on longer night hikes, further into the wilderness. Let them run, climb, be free for a few hours. It helped, but it wasn't enough for Ash. It would never be enough. Around age 8, I had a conversation with them I'd been dreading. They'd been asking questions about their mother, about where they came from, about what they were. I told them everything, how I'd found them, how their mother had died, how I'd made the choice to take them, raise them. They processed this differently. Willow cried, grieved for the mother she never knew. Then hugged me. Thank you for saving us, for being our father. Ash was quiet for a long time. Then, you took us, from our kind, from our world. Your mother was dead. You would have died too. Or maybe others would have found us, others like us, our real family. Ash, I am your real family. I've raised you for 8 years. I love you. You're human. We're not. You keep saying we're different from humans, but you won't admit we're different from you too. That conversation haunted me, because he was right. I'd been raising them as my children, but I wasn't their kind, and I'd never be able to give them what they really needed: connection to their own species. The rift between Ash and me grew slowly over the next few years. Not dramatic, but present. A distance that hadn't been there before. Willow stayed close. She was happy with our life, saw the cabin as home, saw me as her father without reservation. But Ash was pulling away, spending more time alone in the forest, sometimes disappearing for days. He'd always come back, but each time, I worried he wouldn't. Ages 11-15, young adulthood, 2019-2023. By age 11, Ash and Willow were fully grown. 9 feet tall, massive, stronger than any human could ever be. But their minds had caught up to their bodies. They were adults now, in every way that mattered. They spoke fluently, their own language of sounds and gestures that I'd become native in. They understood complex concepts. They had opinions, desires, fears, dreams. Willow wanted security, family. She'd talk about the future. Will we always live here? Will we always be together? As long as you want, I'd tell her. This is your home. Ash wanted freedom, adventure. There's a whole world out there, and we're hiding from it. That's not living, that's just existing. Sometimes existing is enough, I'd say. Sometimes safe is better than sorry. Safe for you, he'd counter. You've had a life, a career, a wife, freedom. We've had this cabin, this forest, you. I know it's not perfect, but it's kept you alive, kept you safe. At what cost? I didn't have a good answer for that. By 2022, Ash was convinced there were others like him and Willow out there. Other Sasquatch, maybe communities, maybe families. I want to find them, he'd say. Find out where we came from, where we belong. This is where you belong, with me, with Willow. This is where you want us. That's not the same thing. He tried to leave twice. Packed supplies, food, tools, things I'd taught him to make. Said he was going to search, to find his kind. Both times Willow begged him to stay. Please don't leave me. You're my brother, my family. I need you. And both times, he stayed. For her. Not for me. For Willow. But I could see it eating at him. The resentment, the feeling of being trapped, of life passing him by while he was stuck in the mountains with a human who loved him but couldn't understand him. Summer 2023. Ash was 15 years old. Willow was 15. I was 56. We'd been a family for 15 years, and everything was about to fall apart. The fights got worse. Ash and I would argue almost daily about freedom, about risk, about what life should be. You're not my real father, he said once, in anger, in frustration. You're the human who took us from our mother, from our chance to know our own kind. It hurt, more than I wanted to admit. I saved your lives, and made us prisoners. You think that's better? Yes, I think being alive is better than being dead, even if alive is complicated. Willow would cry during these arguments, beg us to stop. Please, we're family. We love each other. Why are we doing this? But Ash and I couldn't stop. 15 years of tension, of unresolved questions, of impossible situations. It was all coming to the surface. September 2023, early autumn. The leaves were starting to turn. The air was getting cold. I was at the cabin with Willow. Ash had been gone for 2 days, not unusual anymore. I'd stopped trying to control his movements. He was an adult. He'd come back when he wanted to. Around 4 p.m., we heard sounds from the forest. Ash's voice, but different, distressed, angry, scared. And another sound. Human. Screaming. Willow and I ran toward the sound, through the forest, following Ash's vocalizations. We found them in a clearing maybe half a mile from the cabin. Ash was standing over a man. A hunter, by the look of him. Rifle nearby. The man was on the ground. Not moving. Dead. Ash was shaking, covered in blood, making sounds I'd never heard before, panicked, devastated. What happened? I asked, demanded. Ash, what did you do? He looked at me. His eyes, God, his eyes. Horror, shock, but also something else, something darker. He had a weapon, Ash said. He pointed it at me. He was going to shoot. I defended myself. I looked at the body. The hunter was maybe 50 years old. His neck was broken. His body was mangled. This wasn't just defense. This was rage. This was violence beyond what was necessary. Oh God, I whispered. Ash, What have you done?" I stood there staring at the dead man. My mind couldn't process it. 15 years. 15 years of keeping them safe, keeping them hidden, keeping them away from humans. And now this. "We need to call the police," I heard myself say. "Right now. Ash, this is murder." "Murder?" Ash turned to me, blood still on his hands. "He invaded our territory, pointed a weapon at me. In my world, that means death." "Your world. Ash, we live in the human world. There are laws. There are consequences. You can't just—" "Laws?" His voice was rising. The vocalizations were aggressive now, the gestures sharp. "Laws that don't see me as a person? Laws that would cage me, study me, kill me if they knew I existed?" He was right, and I knew it. But that didn't change what was lying at our feet. Willow was crying, making those distressed sounds she'd made as an infant. She approached Ash, tried to touch him, comfort him. He pulled away from her. "Don't," he said. "Don't look at me like that." "Brother, what happened?" Her voice was small, frightened. "Please tell us what happened." Ash took a breath, tried to calm himself. "I was hunting, further east than usual. I heard something. Saw him." He gestured to the dead hunter. "He saw me too. For a moment we just stared at each other. Then he raised his rifle, aimed at me." "Did he shoot?" I asked. "No, I moved too fast. I was on him before he could pull the trigger. I reacted. I didn't think. I just knew he was a threat, and I—" He looked at his hands, at the blood, at what he'd done. "I killed him," Ash finished. "I killed a human." I examined the body, tried to be clinical, scientific. The rifle was on the ground, about 6 feet away. Unfired. The safety was off. The hunter had been ready to shoot, but Ash had reached him first. The man's neck was broken. Clean break. That would have been enough. But there were other injuries. Ribs crushed, arm bent at unnatural angle. Ash hadn't just killed him in self-defense. He'd brutalized him. "This is bad," I said. "This is really, really bad." "What do we do?" Willow asked. "Father, what do we do?" I looked at my daughter, at my son, at the dead man between us. "We have to report this," I said. "There's no other choice. This man has a family, people who will look for him. We can't just— We bury him." Ash's voice was flat, certain. "Deep in the forest. No one will find him." "Ash, that's insane. That's survival. You report this. What happens? Police come, investigate, find me and Willow. What do you think they do with us? Give us a trial? Grant us rights as people?" He laughed bitterly. "We're specimens. We're monsters. We're things to be studied or killed. You know that." "There has to be another way." "There isn't. You know there isn't. So choose, Father. Choose between your human laws and your children. Because you can't have both." I looked at Willow. She was staring at me, waiting, trusting me to make the right decision. But there was no right decision. There was only choices. All of them terrible. "If we do this," I said slowly, "if we bury him, we're all guilty, all of us. We become murderers, accessories, criminals." "We're already criminals," Ash said. "You've been hiding us for 15 years, breaking laws, living a lie. This is just one more." He was right again. And I hated that he was right. We buried the hunter that night. Ash did most of the digging. His strength made it easier. We went miles from the cabin, to an area I knew was rarely visited. Dug deep, 6 feet down into the rocky soil. We wrapped the body in a tarp, placed it in the hole, covered it, spent hours making the gravesite look natural, scattered leaves, moved logs, erased all evidence we'd been there. Then we took the hunter's truck, an old Ford, keys in the ignition, drove it 50 miles east, left it in a parking area near a popular hiking trailhead. Made it look like he'd left the area, gone somewhere else. We walked home. Took us all night. None of us spoke. By the time we reached the cabin at dawn, I felt like a different person. The line I'd crossed. The point of no return. I was a murderer now. Maybe not by my own hand, but by my choices. The days after were a nightmare. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Kept seeing that man's face, kept thinking about his family, about someone waiting for him to come home, about search parties that would find nothing, about questions that would never be answered. The hunter's disappearance was reported 3 days later. Carl Bennett, age 52, married, 2 adult children, last seen heading to the mountains for a solo hunting trip. Search and rescue teams combed the area, hundreds of volunteers, dogs, helicopters. They searched for 2 weeks. They found his truck at the trailhead where we'd left it. That became the focus of the search. They assumed he'd parked there, hiked in, gotten lost or injured. They never searched near my property. No reason to. The truck was 50 miles away. After 3 weeks, the active search was called off. Carl Bennett was listed as missing, presumed dead. His family held a memorial service without a body. I watched it on the local news, saw his wife crying, saw his children's faces, saw the community mourning a man who'd been loved, who'd mattered, who'd left behind people who cared. And I knew. I'd helped take that from them. I'd helped hide the truth. I'd chosen to protect Ash over giving them closure. Every day, I thought about confessing, calling the police, telling them what really happened, where to find the body, giving Carl Bennett's family some peace. But I couldn't, because confessing meant losing everything, meant Ash and Willow being discovered, captured, destroyed. So I stayed silent, and the guilt ate me alive. Ash changed after the killing, not immediately, but gradually, over weeks and months. He became more aggressive. When he hunted, which he did daily, he killed with excessive force. Deer torn apart, rabbits mutilated, more violence than necessary. And he started talking about it, about the power, about the feeling of being stronger than anything else in the forest. "I'm apex predator," he'd say. "Nothing can threaten me, nothing can stop me." "Ash, that's not who you are," I'd tell him. "That's not who I raised you to be." "Maybe it's who I was always meant to be. Maybe you just tried to suppress it, make me safe, domesticated. But that hunter showed me the truth. I'm not safe, I'm dangerous. And that feels right." It terrified me, watching him become something else, someone else. The gentle boy who'd cuddled on my chest as an infant was gone. In his place was something wild, uncontained, violent. Willow saw it too. She'd try to reach him. "Brother, please, this isn't you. The killing changed you. You have to come back." "Come back to what?" he'd ask. "To hiding? To pretending I'm something I'm not? I'm done with that." "You're scaring me." "Good. Maybe you should be scared. Maybe we've been scared for too long." October 2023. Ash disappeared for a week. When he came back, he was different. More feral, less communicative. He'd look at me and Willow like we were strangers. Like the 15 years we'd spent together meant nothing. I found evidence during his absence. Footprints far from our property. Signs of him ranging widely, possibly encountering people in other areas. I confronted him. "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" "Finding out who I really am, what I'm capable of. You wouldn't understand." "Ash, if you've hurt someone else." He smiled. And it wasn't the smile of my son. It was something colder. "What if I have? What are you going to do about it? Turn me in. You're complicit now. You buried that hunter. You're as guilty as I am." "I did that to protect you." "No. You did it to protect yourself. To protect your perfect little family. Your experiment. But the experiment failed, Father. I'm not your son. I'm what I am. And you can't control that anymore." November 2023. Another person disappeared. Jennifer Hayes, age 25. Experienced hiker. Last seen on a trail about 10 miles from my property. Massive search. Media coverage. Her face was everywhere. Her family pleading for information. The police came to my property, asked permission to search. I let them. What choice did I have? They found nothing. Ash and Willow hid. The shelter Ash had built in the deep forest was too well concealed. The police searched for 6 hours, found no evidence of anything unusual, and left. That night, I confronted Ash. "Did you do something? Did you hurt that hiker?" He looked at me. said nothing, but I saw the answer in his eyes. Oh God. Ash, why? She saw me. I couldn't risk it. So you killed her? Just like that? Just like that. Willow broke down, full sobbing. What's happening to us? What are we becoming? I looked at my son, at the stranger wearing his face. You have to leave. I can't do this anymore. You have to go. Choosing humans over me? Ash asked. After 15 years? I'm choosing what's right. You're killing innocent people. I can't be part of that. You already are part of it. You helped hide the first body. You're an accomplice. You think you can wash your hands of this now? Walk away clean? I'm trying to stop more people from dying. Then turn me in. Call the police. Tell them everything. About me. About Willow. About the hunter we buried. Do it. End this. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But I looked at Willow, terrified, innocent. She hadn't done anything wrong, and if I confessed, she'd be taken too, studied, imprisoned, destroyed. I can't, I whispered. Because of her. Because I won't sacrifice her. Then you're stuck, Ash said. Stuck with me. Stuck with what I've become. This is your creation, Father. Your experiment. Live with it. 3 days later, Ash packed supplies. Things I'd taught him to make. Tools, weapons, food. I'm leaving, he announced. For real this time. I'm going to find my own kind. Or I'm going to make my own way, but I'm done here. Please don't, Willow begged. Please, brother, stay with us. We can fix this. We can help you. I don't need help. I need freedom. And I need to be away from him. He looked at me with pure resentment. 15 years in a cage. 15 years of being told what I am, who I should be. I'm done. If you leave, I said, and you hurt someone else, I will report you. I'll tell the police everything. I'll give them evidence. I'll lead them to you. I swear it. Ash laughed. No, you won't. Because that means admitting what you did, what you are, and it means losing her. He nodded to Willow. You'll stay quiet. You'll protect your perfect daughter. And you'll let me be what I am. Because you have no choice. He was right. And we both knew it. Before he left, Ash came close, lowered his voice. I'll be watching. And if you tell anyone about me, about what we did, I'll come back. And I won't be gentle with you. Either of you. Then he was gone. Into the forest. Into the night. Willow collapsed. I held her while she cried. My daughter. My innocent, gentle daughter. Traumatized by what her brother had become. By what our family had become. It's just us now, I told her. Just you and me. We'll be okay. But I didn't believe it. And neither did she. It's been over a year since Ash left. December 2024 now. I'm 58 years old. Willow is 17. In their years, at least. I don't really know how to calculate their age anymore. And I'm telling this story because I can't carry it alone anymore. Because people are dying and I'm complicit. Because silence is killing me as surely as Ash is killing others. The first few months after he left were the hardest. Willow was devastated. She'd lost her twin, her other half, the person she'd spent every day of her 17 years with. She blamed herself. I should have done more, stopped him, saved him. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, I told her. But the words felt hollow. Because I was the one who'd raised him, who'd shaped him, who'd kept him isolated and controlled until he'd broken. Maybe this was my fault. All of it. Willow struggled with depression. She'd sit for hours staring at nothing. Wouldn't eat, wouldn't speak, just existed in this gray space of grief. I tried everything. Talked to her, held her, gave her space. Nothing seemed to help. He's still out there, she'd say. I can feel him. He's alive. He's angry. He's alone. I know, sweetheart. He needs us. He needs his family. Why did we let him leave? He chose to leave, and he threatened us if we tried to stop him. He didn't mean it. He was hurting. We should have fought harder. Maybe she was right. But I'd been terrified. Of Ash. Of what he'd become. Of what he might do to us if we tried to keep him against his will. January 2024. Jennifer Hayes' body was found. Hikers discovered her remains in a ravine about 12 miles from my property. The cause of death was listed as massive trauma. Consistent with animal attack, the medical examiner said. Likely a bear. But I knew better. I'd seen what Ash could do, what he had done. The local community was shaken. 2 disappearances in 4 months, both in similar areas, both with no clear answers until bodies were found months later. People started talking about a dangerous animal in the region. A rogue bear, maybe. Or a mountain lion. Fish and Wildlife started conducting surveys, setting up cameras, trying to find the predator. They wouldn't find it, because it wasn't an animal. It was my son. I lived with that knowledge every day. Woke up thinking about it. Went to bed thinking about it. Every news report, every search, every grieving family. And I said nothing. Willow knew too. She'd watch the news with me, see the faces of the victims, the families crying, the communities mourning. "We have to stop him," she'd say. "Father, we have to do something." "What can we do? Tell the police? Hi, my Sasquatch son is killing people?" They'd never believe us. And even if they did, they'd take you too. You'd be captured, studied, you'd lose your freedom, your life. But people are dying. I know. And that was all I could say, because she was right. And I was still choosing her over justice, every single time. February 2024. Ash appeared one night. I was on the cabin porch. Couldn't sleep. Just sitting in the cold, thinking about everything I'd done wrong, everything I'd destroyed. I saw movement at the tree line. At first I thought it was a deer. Then I recognized the shape, the size, the way he moved. Ash, watching me from the shadows. I stood up. "Ash, is that you?" He didn't approach, just stood there, maybe 60 feet away. I could barely make out his features in the darkness. Inside, I heard Willow wake up. She must have sensed him somehow, that twin connection. She came running out. "Brother!" She ran toward him. "Brother, please, come home." Ash backed away, made a sound. Not the sounds I'd taught him to make for communication. Something more primal, more wild. Willow stopped. "Please, we miss you. We love you. Just come back. We can figure this out together." For a moment, I thought he might. Thought I saw something in his posture. Hesitation. Regret. But then he turned. Walked back into the forest. Disappeared. Willow stood there for a long time. Then she collapsed. Just fell to her knees in the snow and cried. I went to her, held her. "He's gone, baby. He's really gone." "He looked at me," she sobbed. "I saw his eyes. He's suffering, Father. He's in pain. He's lost. And we're not helping him. I don't know how to help him anymore. We have to try. He's family. He's my brother. I can't just give up on him." But I had given up. Not on loving him, but on believing he could come back. On believing the boy I'd raised still existed somewhere inside the creature he'd become. March 2024. Another disappearance. David Chen, age 34. Solo camper. Last seen setting up camp about 8 miles from my property. His tent was found shredded, his gear scattered, blood everywhere, but no body. The search was massive. Federal authorities got involved this time. 3 disappearances in 6 months, all in similar areas, all with similar circumstances. They interviewed everyone in the region, including me. A federal agent sat in my cabin and asked me questions. "Have you seen anything unusual? Large animals? Heard anything strange?" "No," I lied. "I keep to myself mostly. Don't see much." "You've been here a long time. 17 years?" "About that. Long time to be alone. You ever get lonely?" I thought about Ash and Willow, about the family I'd built and destroyed. "Sometimes." The agent looked around the cabin, at the reinforced furniture, at the oversized doorways I'd built to accommodate Ash and Willow's height. "You do a lot of construction work?" "I like building things. Keeps me busy." He didn't push, but I saw suspicion in his eyes. He knew something was off. He just couldn't figure out what. After he left, Willow came out from her hiding spot, a tunnel system we'd built years ago, leading from the cabin into the forest. Perfect for emergencies like this. "That was close," she said. "Too close. They're looking harder now. 3 victims. It's not going to stop. So what do we do? I looked at my daughter, at the life I'd given her, isolated, hidden, burdened with secrets that would destroy her if revealed. I don't know, I admitted. For the first time in 17 years, I really don't know. April 2024. I started seeing signs. Ash wasn't staying away completely. He was circling back, watching, leaving evidence. I'd find his tracks near the property, large footprints in mud, scratch marks on trees, territorial markers, signs that he was claiming this area, warning other creatures to stay away, including me, maybe. Willow sensed him, too. He's close. I can feel him. Why won't he come home? Because he can't, I said. The Ash we knew is gone. What's left is something else. Something wild. He's more Sasquatch than person now. More instinct than thought. You don't know that. I do know that. I've studied animal behavior my entire life. I know what happens when you try to domesticate something that's meant to be wild. Eventually, the wild wins, always. He's not an animal. He's not entirely person either. That's what I could never give him. A clear identity, a clear purpose. I tried to make him human and failed. And in failing, I created something that belongs nowhere. Willow was quiet for a long time. Then, is that what I am too? Something that belongs nowhere? The question broke my heart. No, baby. You're different. You're happy here. You chose this life. I chose it because I didn't know anything else. Because you're all I've ever had. Do you want to leave? Find your own way? I wouldn't stop you. She looked at me with those intelligent, deeply human eyes. Where would I go? I'm not wild like Ash, but I'm not human like you. I exist in the space between, and that space is very, very small. I'd done this to her. Taken her from her world and failed to integrate her into mine. Left her stranded. May 24. I decided to tell this story. Not to confess to police. I'm still too much of a coward for that. But to put it out there. Anonymously. Online. Somewhere people might see it. Might understand. I need people to know. There's something out there. Something I created. Something that's killing people because I failed it. Ash is out there. Somewhere in the Northern California mountains. Hunting. Killing. Living the life of a predator because that's what I turned him into by trying to suppress his nature. I don't know where he is exactly. He's smart enough to stay hidden. Smart enough to move between areas. To avoid cameras and search parties. To be a ghost. But he's there. And he's dangerous. And it's my fault. 3 confirmed victims. David Chen's body was found 2 weeks ago. Same pattern. Massive trauma. Listed as animal attack. But there might be more. Disappearances I don't know about. People who vanished and whose bodies were never found. How many has Ash killed? 5? 10? More? I'll never know. And that uncertainty is its own torture. Willow and I talk about leaving. Selling the property. Moving somewhere far away. Starting over. But we can't. Because Ash knows where we are. He's watching. And I'm terrified of what he'd do if we tried to leave. If he thought we were abandoning him completely. So we stay. In this cabin. In this prison we've built for ourselves. Waiting. Last week, I asked Willow, do you regret it? Me taking you? Raising you? She thought about it for a long time. I don't know. I love you. You're my father. You gave me safety and kindness and love. But you also gave me isolation and fear and this impossible existence. So, I don't know. That's fair. Do you regret it? I'd asked myself that question 10,000 times. Yes. And no. I loved you both. Still love you. Still love Ash, even after everything. But I ruined your lives. Took you from your kind. Couldn't make you human. Left you nowhere. So yes, I regret it. Every day. What should you have done? Left us to die? Maybe I should have searched harder for others of your kind. Found a way to return you to them. Given you a chance at a real life. Or maybe there was no right answer. Maybe every choice was wrong, and you did the best you could with an impossible situation. Maybe, but that doesn't ease the guilt, doesn't bring back the dead, doesn't fix what I've broken. 2 nights ago, Ash came back. It was late. Willow and I were inside. We heard sounds outside, his sounds. The vocalizations I'd taught him as a child, but deeper now. Rougher. We went to the porch. He was standing at the tree line. Closer than last time, maybe 30 feet away. In the moonlight, I could see him clearly. He looked older, scarred. There was a wound on his shoulder, recent, still healing. From what, I don't know. Willow took a step toward him. "Brother, please, talk to us." He made a sound. Sad, mournful, like he was grieving something. "Come home," she begged. "Whatever happened, whatever you've done, we still love you. You're still family." Ash looked at her. Then at me. And I saw something in his eyes. Something I hadn't seen in months. Recognition, sadness, maybe even regret. He opened his mouth, made sounds, not animal sounds, words, broken, rough, but words. "Sorry," he said, his first human word in over a year. "I'm sorry." Willow was crying. "Then come back, come home. We'll figure it out together." Ash shook his head, made more sounds. "Can't. Too far. Too much. He struggled for words, then gave up. Switched back to the vocalizations we'd used for years. "I'm too far gone. What I've become? Can't come back." "You can," I said. My voice was breaking. "Ash, you can always come back. You're my son. No matter what you've done, no matter what you've become, you're still my son." He looked at me for a long time. Then he made a sound I remembered from when he was small, when he was hurt or scared and needed comfort. "Love you," the sound meant. "Love you both." Then he turned and walked away. Back into the darkness. Back into the wild. Willow collapsed. I held her. We stayed on that porch until sunrise, hoping he'd come back. He didn't. "My name is James Cooper. I'm 58 years old. 17 years ago, I found 2 Sasquatch infants whose mother had died. I took them, raised them, loved them like my own children. I named them Ash and Willow. I taught them language, taught them right from wrong, taught them to hide from a world that wouldn't understand them. And I failed them both. Ash became a killer. He's murdered at least 3 people, maybe more. He's living in the mountains, alone, wild, more beast than person. And I can't stop him because I'm complicit, because I buried the first body, because reporting him means losing Willow. Willow is still with me. She's gentle, kind, wouldn't hurt anyone. But she's alone, isolated, the last of her kind that she knows. And I did that to her. Took her from any chance of knowing her own species. I made them prisoners. Told myself it was for their protection. But maybe it was for mine. Maybe I needed them more than they needed me. And now Ash is out there, hunting, killing, living the only life I left him with. If you're hiking in Northern California, if you're camping in remote areas, be careful. There's something in those mountains, something intelligent, something dangerous, something that was once a child who just wanted to be loved. His name is Ash. I raised him, and I destroyed him. This is my confession, my warning, my burden. I don't expect forgiveness. From the families of the victims, from Ash, from Willow, from anyone. I'm just telling the truth. Finally, after 17 years of lies. I thought love would be enough. I thought I could give them a good life, a safe life, a happy life. But love wasn't enough. And the life I gave them was a cage, a comfortable cage, but still a cage. And when Ash finally broke free, he became exactly what I'd tried so hard to prevent. A monster. But he's not a monster. He's a person I raised wrong, a person I failed. And people are dying because of my failures. I'm sorry, to everyone, for everything. I'm James Cooper. And this is the story of how I raised 2 Sasquatch twins, and how I destroyed them both. Last night, Willow asked me, "What happens when you die? When I'm alone? What do I do?" I don't have an answer. I'm 58. She'll probably outlive me by decades. And when I'm gone, she'll be completely alone. No family, no community, no one of her kind, just her. In this cabin, in this forest, forever. That's my legacy. Not the love I gave them, not the years of care, but the loneliness I've guaranteed. Ash is free now, wild, dangerous, but free. Willow is safe, loved, but trapped. And I'm the one who made both those things true. I'm so sorry. To both of you, I'm so sorry.